Who is winning Eurovision? I've got some hot takes. Hi, I'm Henry, aka Henners. I'm a singer-songwriter, producer, classical musician, and massive Eurovision fan. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my predictions for the final after both the semi-finals have happened. If you want to see my reaction to the results of those semi-finals, the qualifier announcement, feel free to check those out if that was kind of a fun time. I've done reactions to the Eurovision entries this year and a few other additional live performances from the perspective of my musician brain, so if you want a bit of musical insight, feel free to go and check those out. And if you've really been enjoying my videos this season and want to support me, you can do so on Patreon, where you get access to exclusive content and copyright-free videos, or you can make a one-off donation on Buy Me a Coffee. But let's get into this video. Okay, so the running order was also decided last night, so I'll discuss that a bit. But what I've done, in the same way that I have done with my semi-final predictions, I've done a fully simulated set of results with the exact amount of jury points and televote points available, so it should be like kind of accurate. So I'm just going to take you through it from the lowest result to the highest result in my simulation and see what you guys think. Please feel free to share all of your opinions. This is just a prediction. This is not my personal taste of the song, so please don't be offended. It's just what I'm thinking is going to happen. I've been kind of just bold and brave with this as the final prediction, so here goes nothing. Let's get into this. Okay, so obviously I had to do this fairly quickly, so the graphics are maybe a tiny bit messy, so I apologise for that, but I've done my best to make it look somewhat presentable. So my prediction for last place is going to be Austria. I think they're kind of winning the odds for who's going to come last. I think they're top of the odds for that. So the points on the left are the jury, points on the right are the televote, in the kind of smaller points at the bottom, if you can understand what I mean. I don't know if it's going to do that well with the juries, just because we know this year there are so many jury bait entries. This is obviously not one of them. It's kind of a fun, upbeat closer. I think ORF were not deeping this entry too much. It's just a bit of fun. I think it will get a few televote points, but again, because the televote aspect of the competition is also so competitive this year, they kind of all bring each other down, so it's all quite an even playing field, and I feel like maybe no one's going to get like extreme high end of the points. But yeah, I've only given it 7. I don't think its running order spot is actually going to be that helpful to it, because people have kind of already voted or checked out by then, especially as you can vote from the beginning of the show now, which I'm sure is happening again this year. Yeah, I think so. So that's it now. I'm going to go quite quick fire through this just so I can get this video out, and there's 25 entries to go through. So in 24th place, I've got Belgium, who was a bit of a shock qualifier for a lot of people, or a bit of a surprise, at least it was for me. Belgium! Wow. I think it will get a decent amount of televote points. It's 4th in the running order, which isn't great for it. So the juries are going to have obviously seen all the kind of bigger entries, more obviously jury bait entries by the time they start voting, and this was quite early on, which isn't going to help. The vocals are good, but nothing crazy, especially as juries are now ranking song first, then vocals, then performance. I don't think the song's that strong. The lyrics don't really make a whole load of sense. I don't know. I don't think juries are going to appreciate it loads. I've only given it 1 televote point, which I was thinking maybe it will get 1 from Luxembourg or something. But then I think there's a thing where she's kind of said that she's somewhat in support of Israel's participation. So maybe she will get more points from Israel, but I didn't want to revise this and change it all after I'd remembered that, just because of Israel's obsession with making this contest political. Anyway, moving on. I need to get through this. 23rd, I've got the UK, who I have not put last, because last night, honestly, I was actually kind of impressed by the performance. It was not the best thing ever, but I think they did a good job. Frederick Rudman did a good job of elevating it. So I've given it 9 jury points, because I think some jurors will appreciate the kind of artistic, cool camera work, although there is a lot of cool artistic camera work. I think they'll appreciate him as a musician and the fact he makes his own stuff, even though that's not that relevant to the contest, but I think there'll be some appreciation there. And vocally, he was sounding good enough. I think it will pick up some points. It's kind of right in the middle of the running order, so it might struggle to stand out, but I think the crowd engagement is going to mean that people are going to like it. I definitely feel like it's potential to get points from Australia, to be fair. That's not even what I meant to say, but I think Australia. I was going to say Austria and Germany just because of the language thing. So I think UK may have saved itself from getting last place, and hopefully we get no 0 points from the televote. I'm praying you'll see my reaction to the televote, so let's hope that it's a happy one. Okay, so by the way, I cannot really remember the order, so it's kind of a surprise for me. 22nd, I've got Germany. Yeah, okay. I think juries will appreciate the strong vocal. They've put an automatic qualifier in the death spot, which I thought was a bold choice. Whoever made this running order, I think it's a new kind of team of people. They are obviously not experienced with doing it, because this running order is I feel like this would have been a good opener, to be honest, Germany, especially as it's like an English language song. It's fun, it's upbeat, but I don't know. Yeah, I think juries will appreciate her vocals, but the song is quite generic. And again, it's in a very early running order spot, which is really not going to stand out from, especially after Denmark. We'll come on to it a bit. And I've given it 14 televote points. I think it's fun, nice, generic girl bop, but it's nothing wow. I think we know that. 21st, I've got Bulgaria, which seems quite low, but if you see it is quite a big jump up from Germany points-wise. I've really been quite harsh with the jury score just because, again, there are so many jury bait entries that I think Girl Bops might be penalised a bit. She doesn't have any crazy vocal showcase, and if they are ranking song first, jurors often have a bit of a bias against, well, Girl Bops in general, but especially like a bit of an ethno-bop thing with that kind of beat switch up that's got the more ethnic sounds. I feel like jurors are often quite averse to, but we do have younger jurors, so I think this will appeal to them, so maybe this could be completely wrong. But I've given her 59 points from the public, which I think would be good. I think it does have a really, I mean, the performance was wow. I really enjoyed the performance. I think it's very memorable. It's giving a kind of like Bulgarian brat vibe. I mean, not really actually, but somewhere in the same vein, but it's quite unique and kind of almost quite weird and fun, and she just sells the song so well. And it's in an alright running order spot. I think it's 12th, so I think it will get a good amount of love from the televote. And 20th, we have Cyprus, who did make it through. Juries, I've given it 15 because we know that Greece is going to give it a lot of love, and I think it will get a bit of love here and there, to be honest. I do see the UK giving it some love. I feel like the UK jury scores often are quite supportive of Girl Bop, so maybe we'll get some points from the UK, possibly, I don't know. But that vocal is just, I think, really just drags it down so much, and it's a shame because the song does have like a nice ethnic Greek, kind of Middle Eastern fusion, the kind of Cypriot culture within the music, which I think is really cool and interesting, but I just think the vocal is probably quite distracting for a lot of jurors. I think the public will love this, especially as it is later in the running order. I do think Cyprus and Sweden right next to each other in the running order is very weird. Two upbeat girl numbers. I don't know what they were doing with the running order, but there we go. It is later in the running order, so I think it will kind of stick with people. And the song is catchy, so I think it will be, if it could get through the semi-finals, I think it will be okay in the final. I don't think casuals care that much about vocals, so yeah, I think she'll be okay and will come 20th. Okay, moving into 19th, I've got Poland, Alicia with Pray. I think jurors will really appreciate this vocal. They obviously appreciated it enough to get it through to the final. I think the staging is really great. It kind of has a bit of a balancing act going on, so maybe a slight Nemo kind of throwback that jurors will like. Vocally, she's perfect, one of the best vocalists in the competition by far. The song might drag it down a bit because it's nothing wow. A lot of people find it structurally a bit weird, but I think it will definitely get some love. I think Diaspora will show up for this, which is why it's got 32 points. I think without Diaspora, probably would struggle quite a bit with points, but it's done all right with the running order. It's 18th, I think. I think it's 18th. I've literally seen the running order twice. I'm relying on my good memory. Yeah, I think it'll be okay, and I think it will come 19th for now. 18th, we have Serbia, which might seem quite low for some people. I'm not too sure, but I think jurors tend to hate rock and metal, unfortunately, but I've still given it 34, which is more than, I mean, like Bulgaria and Germany got. So I think there'll be some jurors, especially with Neighbour voting, that appreciate the scream vocal and the quite cool, complex composition of the song. And I think the metal niche and, again, televoting neighbours will really rally behind this and will give it a good 65 odd points, putting Serbia in 18th. Okay, 17th, we have Malta, which again maybe seems quite low. A lot of these points I feel like are just derived from me having war flashbacks to past contests and past points, but I think it will do well in the jury. It's kind of right before Czechia, which I think might hurt it slightly, which again, what are they doing with these running orders? Why would you put two male ballads back to back? But it's obviously visually quite a spectacle. His vocal is good. It's got really cool, timeless, nostalgic feel. I say that every time I talk about Malta's song. I just feel like that's so distinct, and jurors will really appreciate that. I mean, I really appreciate that as a musician. It's a really nice throwback. So I think it will do well in the jury. I know 98 doesn't seem like that much, but it's because there's so much competition. I don't think the higher jury scoring points are actually going to have that many points. I think 98 technically was in my top 10 jury. I'll show you the spreadsheet, the messy spreadsheet breakdown of who was top with the jury, top with the televote after. I say this as if these are the actual results. I've gone with 8 points from the public, which I know is exactly the same as Mariana Conte got. I just feel like Malta really struggle with the televote, and this isn't really a televote magnet of a song, but maybe people will kind of appreciate the retro feel of it, and I think it will get some points here and there, maybe from like Italy or something. But yeah, I do worry about its televote, unfortunately, but they did a good job to get to the final, definitely, and they have done a great job with the song. Okay, so we move on to Lithuania, who are having 16th, who have technically drawn with Malta, but because the televote has the upper hand, Lithuania has come 16th above Malta. I think juries will appreciate this. I don't think the vocal has been the best ever. The song is interesting and unique, but I think it might throw some jurors off, so it won't get like the highest score, but it won't do really low because some jurors will appreciate the artistic vibe to it. I do really like the staging. I don't know if the execution was 100% there for me when I watched the semi-final. I was actually even getting a bit worried about qualification at one point. So I think earlier in the season, I would have had this pushing for like 12th, 11th, 10th maybe, but I'm a bit more unsure now. I've given it 44 points. Well, diaspora will show up for it, of course, and I think they'll get a few other points here and there from countries that have people that maybe appreciate a more artistic performance, something a bit unique. I think the Silver Man is definitely memorable and stands out, but I think the reaction to this song from casuals on Tuesday was maybe a bit lukewarm. It wasn't quite as, oh, this is great, this is fun, there's a Silver Man on stage, as much as I might have thought it would have been. So I'm unsure that Lithuania could push for the left-hand side of the leaderboard now, but we will have to see, obviously. 15th, I've got Albania, which again seems quite low, but I think, again, there's just so much competition and its running order wasn't great, so I think that's dragged it down a bit. In 5th, I think it is. But 77 from the jury would be really great. I think it will do very well in jury. His vocal is perfect. I think that jurors will appreciate the message of the song. The staging is quite classy, but not too classy and polished that it loses the emotional impact. And again, 77 seems quite low, but I think it is still quite high in the jury ranking. It's just that they're all kind of pulling each other down because they're all so good, if you get what I mean. I think running order is going to hurt it, and it'll get a bit of neighbourly diaspora voting and some other love from people that appreciate the more emotional, gripping message of the song, but I don't know if it will do too well in the televote, so I've gone with 30 points. 14th, we have another tie, but again, Norway had the upper hand with the televote. Norway did make it through to the final after some people doubted it slightly. I don't think it's going to stand out that much with the jury, and I think especially as it's not last like it was in the semi-final, and there again are just more jury bait entries like Albania, who will kind of eat up more of the jury points, I think. But I think there will definitely be jurors that appreciate the kind of Queen, Freddie Mercury throwback sort of thing. Probably older jurors, so actually I think maybe having younger jurors might hurt this song slightly. But I don't think it will do really badly with the jury. I just don't think it will do that great, especially as he's been ill, bless him. His voice is not serving him well. He definitely needs a good break after this because he is a brilliant vocalist. It's just, I think there's a bit of fatigue and potential for vocal damage going on there, unfortunately. So I hope he's taking care of his voice and he doesn't end up with nodules or something. But I think televote casual viewers will absolutely love this. It's 23rd in the running order, which is a great spot for it. Although, here's another thing I'm complaining about the running order. It's right before Romania, another rock song. I know they're different vibes, but why would you have 2 girl bops, then 2 rock songs? It just makes no sense to me. It's like annoying me. I'm sorry, but I just feel like this flow of the show is not going to be good. The last like 5 or 6 songs are all really upbeat. Like, did you not want to put a bit of a ballad in there somewhere? Sorry, I'm going to move on because it's annoying me. Okay, 13th, our left-hand side of the leaderboard, I have Croatia. Why did I say it like that? Croatia. I was really wowed by this performance. I've always loved the song, really appreciated the artistic vision and the feminist message behind it. But I think the performance really sold it to me even more, especially it's a bit later in the running order than countries that like Albania that it might have been competing with. I think it might have the upper hand. With the juries, I think the juries will really appreciate the choral vocals. I think younger jurors will love this. That Slavic white voice kind of style of singing, I think, is so distinct, so captivating. I think they'll struggle a bit more with the public audience. They'll get a lot of Balkan love, but I think it unfortunately is like bam smack in the middle of the running order, which means that I feel like people might tune into the beginning, and because they can vote from the start, they'll vote for some of them, and then the last ones, it's like a recency bias. People remember that, and everything in the middle maybe sometimes gets a bit blurred and muddled, and Croatia's right in the middle, so I think it may get a bit swallowed up by everything around it, but I think it will get some love from countries outside of the Balkans because it is so unique and distinct. So I think Croatia can push for 13th, which I think would be a great position for Croatia, especially after not qualifying last year. I think the Croatian delegation have been doing such a good job at elevating, even with Marko Bosniak, to be honest. I think they did kind of everything they could have done with that song, so good job. Again, I just said good job as if they've come 13th. I've gaslit myself into thinking these are the actual results. Oh my god. Okay, 12th place I have Moldova. Now this one I am a bit unsure about because I know a lot of people have this as a potential like shock winner. I just don't really see the jury appeal for this, unfortunately. I think the juries will really drag this down, but I think they'll appreciate Aliona Moon's vocals and the upbeat energy of it. And the song itself, there are like actually cool elements of it. The ethnic instruments, the pan flute thing, and the different beat switch ups, I think are all cool compositional things that hopefully jurors will appreciate, but I just don't know if they think that deeply about these songs. But again, it's just not obviously jury bait, and I think there are some humour entries which we'll get onto later that I say humour entries. I know these entries are all quite deep and meaningful, but like entries that evoke like a bit of a happiness, if you get what I mean. I think there are ones like that do it a bit, maybe in a way that's a bit more polished to cater for the juries, but I think televote will love this. I think 134 is possibly quite a low prediction, maybe, but maybe Greece might eat into its televote potential a bit, which we'll get into later. But yeah, I think it will do well in the televote, and they can definitely push for left-hand side and probably can push for top 10. But I know that might be a bit lower than some people are thinking, possibly. Wow, I'm so controversial. Cancel me already. I'm very much kidding. Okay, 11th. Now I remember what I have put in 11th. Sweden. Again, why am I taking this so seriously? I love it. I've put Sweden outside of the top 10. I think it will do really well with the juries. They'll appreciate the polished feel of it. There are just other songs that are more like artistic avant-garde that they'll like a bit better. And vocally she is great, so I think that's really going to help her. I think it's how late it is in the running order is helpful, but then again it might have competition with Cyprus that comes straight after it. I don't know. Weird running order. So I've been at 96 from the public. I think the song sells itself. The laser stuff is all really cool and her vocal is great, but I think the song is just great EDM, and I think it's catchy and a lot of people will love it for the song, so it will do well in the televote. Less of an extreme prediction than if I would have predicted Erica Wickman to come 11th, I have to say. I feel like people would have cancelled me more then, and that was even more of a winner contender or top 3 contender than Felicia is, so I don't think this is actually that much of an out there prediction. But anyway, we move on to our top 10. In 10th place I have Romania. Okay, I think juries will maybe penalise the rock of it all, which sucks because it's such a great song. And again, it's so late in the running order that I feel like jurors have kind of almost solidified their ranking by that point. And the last few, they kind of just slot in without thinking about it too much, maybe. I don't know if that's how it works, but jurors actually, statistically, I think are technically more biased to later songs in the running order. So I don't know, but 63 would still be good. Her vocal is great. I think she's had a few off vocal moments that maybe aren't that obvious if you don't know the song. Hopefully her vocal will be fine, and it has been great. Her vocal has been great. It's just I've heard better performances from her, so maybe nerves have got to her a bit, but I don't know. I think televote will really love this, and I think it will push over the 100 mark, especially in its good running order spot. Again, I don't know if Norway, another rock song coming before it, will harm it slightly. I don't know, but I think it's catchy. I think people will find the opera bit fun, maybe, or maybe they might be a bit annoyed that another country's doing an operatic thing. I'm not too sure, but I think it will do decently with the televote, like very decently, definitely top 10 with the televote. 9th place I have Denmark. This is possibly another controversial one, but I think it would have been higher maybe if it weren't for that abysmal running order. Why is Denmark first? I know maybe they kind of want to start with a bit of a fan favourite first. I get that it's upbeat, but I don't think this is actually a good first place anyway. Even the fact that it's a bit of a winner contender, like I feel like they never usually put like potential winners in first. That's kind of crazy. But also it's quite kind of cinematic and theatrical, quite focused on camera work within this box. I don't feel like there's that much crowd engagement just because it's not that type of performance. So I actually don't think this is a great opener anyway. I think they should have started with Germany, and I know I wouldn't really want Denmark to be in second, but we saw that Ukraine did well in second from 2024. But let's talk about the prediction. I think jurors will love this, but not as much as they'd love it if it had a better running order spot, unfortunately. So I've given it 109 with the jury. I think it will push over that mark. Maybe there's a bit of a Eurovision fan bubble around this song. I think they'll love the vocal, love the song, but again, it's not one of those huge artistic ballads like other ones are, so I don't think it will be in the top bracket. I've only given it 99 from the public. I think it will do really well because it is such a great polished performance, and people that are tuned in from the beginning, plus Euro fans, will give it a lot of love. I do feel like there might be a case of Euro fans panicking a bit like me right now about this song's chances. So everyone's going to like spend a lot more votes on it. So actually maybe it will do better than that. And I think openers always do okay. I just don't feel like it really shines in this spot. I think people are going to be like, oh, that was good. But it just doesn't feel like that upbeat, like crowd communal opener that a lot do. But I don't think it's trying to be that song. So I feel like they should have put, because Cyprus drew second half. I think I would have put Germany in first. If you're going to put an automatic qualifier in the death spot, then I feel like you can afford to put them in first. Yeah, and Sweden drew second half, so you couldn't do that either. And they couldn't do Bulgaria because they've already been first. Yeah, I would have put Germany in first. I think that would have been way better personally. You have to let me know what you think. But top eight, I've got Czechia, which has kind of wowed all of us, I think, in this week, but I don't know if it will wow casuals as much. Czechia obviously struggle with the televote, but I think it is really great and has enough wow factor and enough like emotional connection for people that tune in and are more open to the more artistic, wow, emotionally gripping entries rather than the like 55-year-old straight men who tune in for like really fun men who look like they're a bit drunk on a night out, if you get what I mean. So I think we'll get some love from some places, but just not a whole load. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking the worst just so I'm not disappointed, but it could maybe even do even worse than that with the televote. But I think it will do so well with the jury. His vocal is flawless. He, I think for me, gave the best vocal performance that night. I have to say Delta Goodrum also was competing there. I say that as if I'm shocked. It's just because some of the performances she'd given, there were just tiny minor imperfections, whereas Czechia, I hadn't heard any imperfections. So he had the upper hand, but Delta was perfect. So him and Delta are like competing for the best vocal performances I've heard so far from the live shows. Juries will love this. They'll love the artistic vision of all the mirrors and stuff, and it will come, well, you'll see where it's come in my full jury ranking later, but that's what I'm thinking for Czechia. So I do think they can push for top 10 for sure. I mean, even if it got 0 televote points, that would actually still be top 10 thinking about it. So, okay, we move on to France, who I've got in 7th. I know that's a winner contender. Again, maybe I'm having war flashbacks with with Luan last year. I think she's going to do great with the juries. Her vocal was great. That top note is still slightly flat, just slightly flat, but she's been giving a great performance. Such a mature voice. I think juries have to reward that. Song is fun, dramatic, and intense, and actually did stand out, I think, as a song, which I don't think is something that me or other people have really been able to say, but I don't think there's anything that is dramatic and theatrical quite in this way. It is quite classical influence, which I think is really interesting. Choreography was really slick. Visuals were lovely, but I just don't think the song is really something that's that digestible for casual listeners, and I don't think they're gonna care too much for it. I think it'll do okay with the televote, but I've put it quite low at 51 points. Again, maybe that's war flashbacks from my mom, but that's what I'm thinking for France. So even out of the top 5, I say, I'm calling it. Okay, 6th place, Ukraine. I've given her a good jury score because I think she will do well. I know she seemed a bit in her post-qualification interview a bit annoyed with herself that she maybe slightly missed the top notes, bless her, but I think she's going to really deliver. With these jury shows and the final show, the song is quite artistic, quite polished. It's got like a folky but brutalist fusion I think jurors will love. Maybe not as much as some of the top ones, but I think they will still appreciate it. I think Ukrainian diaspora and solidarity voting will really help it out, and other people that like this kind of more soft vibe. So I think Ukraine will come 6th. So top 5, 5th place I have Australia. So I've not put Australia as a winner. I've given her a great jury score because that vocal was perfect. It's obviously such a spectacle. It does feel very polished, but I think jurors will like that, to be fair. I think she will do quite well with the televote, especially from countries like the UK. But I just don't know if this song is that impactful for people. It just feels slightly outdated and generic, I think, a bit compared to a lot of more fun, novelty, quite modern feeling entries. So I don't think it's going to do amazingly with the televote. Australia usually struggle. So I think it will come 5th for now. 4th place, I have Italy. Don't know if this is a surprise or not, but I think this is absolutely a casual song. I think this will get top 5 televote points. Personally, I think it's so fun, so timeless, a bit tongue-in-cheek, the whole wedding vibe. He's just so charming, so warm, especially to maybe older viewers and older jury voters too. His vocal actually was a bit off in the rehearsals, but the live performance I saw of the semi-final, he was vocally perfect, so I think he's going to be fine there. The song has that really cool timeless Neapolitan feel to it that I think jurors will really appreciate, and yeah, I think Italy will absolutely maintain their top 7 streak and they can push for the top 5 with this one. I think if some things really go wrong, I actually see it as maybe doing even better. I don't know about winner, but that's what I'm thinking for Italy. Okay, so we move on to our top 3. In third place, you can see what I've predicted. I don't think this will be as high as other years just because obviously the advertising campaign and stuff isn't allowed in the rules. And again, I think there's so much competition with other entries that will actually kind of drag Israel down slightly in the televote. I think jurors, especially with younger jurors, might boycott again, but I'm not too sure. It will be very interesting to see what happens there, as it's really kind of crunch time and casuals are now really tuning into Eurovision. It's really getting a lot of media exposure. I think would be good for us as Euro fans to keep speaking out, keep contacting your broadcasters, letting them know that it's kind of not okay to have a broadcaster representing a state that as a collective has been accused of genocide in the contest. The EBU have released like a Eurofan survey that you can do to kind of express all your disappointment with some of their decisions, to put it lightly. So I encourage everyone to fill out that survey. It is a good opportunity from the EBU to have your voice heard. But yeah, that's where I think Israel will end up. I'm going to leak my winner by showing you the second place. This is very interesting. It's obviously between Greece and Finland. So second place, I have Greece. So I've predicted Finland to win, but we'll get onto that in a bit. I actually think this will do quite well with the juries. I know I've been yapping on about how obviously artistic, polished entries are going to do better with jurors and more humour-based entries won't. But I think the staging with the references to kind of Greek mythology and Greek culture, jurors will actually find quite classy in a way and will appreciate that. His vocal is actually good, so I think that's kind of catching them off guard a bit, where he delivers quite a solid vocal in the bridge. It's obviously nothing like wow and crazy, but I think if they had any concerns being like, okay, great, it's fun and upbeat, but he's not really a good singer, like he can't sing at all, and then he showcases that he actually can, they'll be like, oh, okay, actually, let's bump it up. And we know that jurors are now being told to focus very much primarily on the song and then a bit of the vocals and then a little bit of performance and staging. So if they are focusing on song, it's got these cool ethnic elements, the bouzouki, the kind of Greek traditional scales, but also combined with the more electronic synthy 808 bit crush sounds I think jurors will love. I've actually predicted this to win the televote. I know 271 points is not that much as a winner, but I think there's so much competition and another country ruining everyone else's chances with the televote. That is actually quite close to Israel. I've predicted it. But yeah, I think casuals will absolutely love this. It is the fun male entry of the year, which is becoming a bit of a staple. We had Karia and then kind of Baby Lasagna / Joost Klein. I think Joost Klein would have been a bit more of a competition for Baby Lasagna in the final if he had been there. Last year we had Tommy Cash. I think he is very much existing in that vein, and maybe casuals are almost kind of expecting a fun male performer like that to be there for them to vote for. And also the song is good and fun and catchy. So I think it will get a lot of televote love and probably win the televote. Okay, so I should say how I do these predictions is I just type in to a spreadsheet the amount of points I think they'll get from the jury and televote, and then I'll scale it up and down depending on how many points there actually are available. So I'm not kind of just making a prediction off the top of my head randomly. It is quite thought through. So this kind of gagged me when I saw how many points Finland had. Just have a look at Greece's points for a sec. 386, and I'm now going to reveal Finland's points. I've predicted that Finland will win with a 3-point lead. And I did not do this intentionally. I was like, what? When I saw that. And obviously, we should address the elephant in the room that 389 would be a ridiculously low score for a winning entry. And I don't think it's because Liudkin Hayton is bad or Linda Lampenius and Peter Parkkonen are not doing a good job. I think it's very much a winner potential. It's just because there's so much competition. It's just not a runaway winner in the way that like Nemo or Loreen or Salvador Sobral were. So I have actually predicted this to win the jury. I know there are a bit of doubts. People are thinking maybe Australia and France, but my thinking is that Australia, great vocal, really polished, but maybe lacks artistry and emotional connection. France, artistic, polished, great vocal, but also maybe lacks a bit more emotional connection. But Finland kind of has all of these things. Polished, but also artistic and a bit unique, and very much has an emotional theme. So I think juries will just about put this on top. I think televote will love this, especially the appeal of Peter Parkkonen. But I think the story that Linda's playing the live violin will appeal to voters. It's a great song. I think it's going to be memorable to audiences watching the song itself. The staging looks great, and I think this will do well in the televote. I don't think it will win the televote, but I think it will do well enough to just by maybe 3 points to have a lead over Greece. I was literally gagged when I saw that come out of my spreadsheet. So that's my prediction. I've kind of gone through everything. I'm just going to show you the spreadsheet quickly so you can see the breakdown. Otherwise, this video is going to be so long. Okay, so here is my messy spreadsheet where I do all this stuff. You can see these were my predictions for the semi-final before the actual night. So these weren't my like final predictions, but they were my final simulated predictions, if that makes sense. But this is what I've done. I've put the running order here to help me out. But if we look at my jury ranking, even this is very close. So Finland at the top and France, Australia. I think Czechia will do really well. Italy I've put quite high. So I don't know, maybe you'll find that fun to look at. And then the televote. Yeah, again, I already said Greece and Israel close. Italy, I've put third in the televote, beating Finland, which I very much can see. Ukraine doing well, Moldova, Romania, Denmark, and Sweden, who, although maybe seem lower than you would have predicted, I've still put them that high in the televote. I just think there's weird things happening this year, which is just going to make the results be crazy, to be honest. So those are my predictions. Go to the comments now, share your predictions, because this is our last chance to share predictions with each other. And I've literally loved discussing with you all this stuff throughout the whole season. And I don't want it to be over. So please, let's keep discussing. Let's have these conversations. I'm really intrigued to see all of your predictions and your thoughts about this prediction. Please tell me if you think this is ridiculous. If I am an idiot, just go to town. I do not mind. You won't offend me. Please feel free to share what you think. Look forward to seeing you after the during the results reveal for the grand final. Tomorrow I'll film my reaction to the televote. And obviously the winner, I cannot believe we're at the final now. So lots of love. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Goodbye.